The 155 mm gun M1 was a 155 mm caliber field gun developed and used by the United States military. Nicknamed Long Tom, an appellation with a long and storied history in U.S. field and naval artillery, it was produced in M1 and M2 variants, later known as the M59. Developed to replace the cannon to 155 mm GPF, the gun was deployed as a heavy field weapon during World War II and the Korean War, and also classed as secondary armament for seacoast defense. The gun could fire a 45.36 kilograms, 100 pounds, shell to a maximum range of 22 kilometers, 13.7 miles, with an estimated accuracy life of 1,500 rounds. The Long Tom was also adopted by a number of other nations, including the United Kingdom, Austria, Israel, and the Netherlands. Development. Before entering World War I, the United States was poorly equipped with heavy artillery. To address this problem, a number of foreign heavy artillery guns were adopted, including the cannon to 155 mm GPF. After the end of the war, the Westervelt Board was convened to assess the artillery experience of the combatant powers and map out future directions for the U.S. Army artillery. The conclusion of the board vis-a-vis heavy field artillery was that the French 155 mm GPF should be adopted as the standard heavy field piece, but further development work should occur to achieve a heavy field gun with a maximum range of 25,000 yards, a vertical arc of fire from 0 degrees to 65 degrees, a projectile not exceeding 100 pounds, and the capability to be mounted on a caterpillar mount or a rubber-tired towed mounting. A number of prototypes were produced in the 1920s and 1930s, but the projects were put on hold due to lack of funds. In 1938, the 155 mm gun T4 on carriage T2 was finally adopted as 155 mm gun M1 on carriage M1. 155 mm gun M1. The new gun design used a barrel similar to the earlier 155 mm GPF, but with an Asbury mechanism that incorporated a vertically hinged breech plug support. This type of breech used an interrupted thread breech plug with a lock that opened and closed the breech by moving a single lever. The ammunition for the 155 mm gun was separate loading, that is, with the shell and the powder charge are packaged, shipped, and stored separately. The shell is lifted into position behind the breech and then rammed into the chamber to engage the shell's rotating band into the barrel rifling. Ramming the shell home is followed by loading a number of powder bags, as required for the desired range. The powder charge could be loaded in up to 7 charge settings. Once the powder is loaded, the breech plug is closed and locked, and a primer is placed in the breech plug's firing mechanism. After setting the elevation and azimuth, the gun is ready to fire. The firing mechanism is a device for initiating the ammunition primer. The primer then sets off the igniter, which ignites the propelling charge of the ammunition. A continuous pull lanyard first cocks the firing pin, then fires the primer when pulled. The gun was developed into M1A1 and M2 variants. After World War II, the United States Army reorganized, and the gun was redesignated as the M59. Carriage M1. The gun carriage provides a stable, yet mobile, base for the gun. The new split trail carriage featured an 8-wheel integral 2-axle bogie and a 2-wheel limber that supported the trails for transport. The carriage was a 2-piece design. The upper carriage included the side frames with trunnion bearings that supported the recoil mechanism that carried the gun cradle, slide, and gun tube. The upper carriage also incorporated the elevating and azimuth gearing. The upper carriage pivoted in azimuth on the lower carriage. The lower carriage included the transport suspension and the split trail that stabilized and absorbed recoil when the gun was fired. After the gun was placed in a firing position with the gun pointing in the desired direction, the trails were lowered to the ground and the limber was removed. The carriage wheels would then be raised using built-in ratcheting screw jacks, lowering the gun carriage to the ground. Once on the ground, the limber end of the trail legs were separated to form a wide V with its apex at the center of the carriage pivot point. A recoil spade at the limber end of each trail leg required a correctly positioned hole to be dug for the spade, which was attached to the trail end, to transmit the recoil from gun carriage through the trails and into the earth. This made the gun very stable and assisted its accuracy. The removable spades were transported in brackets on the trail legs. The carriage M1 and M2 were shared with the 8-inch howitzer M1, differing only in the gun tube, sleigh, cradle, recoil, and equilibrators, weight due to the heavier barrel. Service. The Long Tom saw combat for the first time in North African campaign on December 24, 1942, with a battery of the 36th Field Artillery Battalion. Eventually it equipped about 49 battalions, including 40 in the European theater and 7 in the Pacific. The preferable prime mover was initially the Mack No. 6x67 1/2-ton truck. From 1943 on it was supplemented by the tracked M4 high-speed tractor. A small number of Long Tom guns were authorized for supply via Lend-Lease channels, to the United Kingdom, 184, and France, 25. The authorized establishment of British batteries, excluding training units, including 4 batteries from the Dominion of Newfoundland, totaled 88 guns. Variants. Gun variants. M1920, prototype. T4, prototype. M1, 1938, first production variant, 20 built. M1A1, 1941, modified breech ring. M1A1E1, prototype with chromium-plated bore. M1A1E3, prototype with liquid cooling. M2 standard, 1945, with modified breech ring. Carriage variants. T2, prototype. M1, 1938. M1A1, refurbished T2 carriages. M2 standard. Limber variants. M1 standard, 1938. M5 heavy, 1945. The gun was also mounted on a modified M4 medium tank chassis, in mount M13. The resulting vehicle was initially designated 155mm gun motor carriage T83 and eventually standardized as 155mm gun motor carriage M40. 155mm gun motor carriage T79, based on T23 medium tank chassis, never advanced past proposal stage. A portable Panama mount M1 was also provided. Ammunition. The gun utilized separate loading, bag charge ammunition. The propelling charge consisted of base, 9.23 kilograms, and increment, 4.69 kilograms. The data in the table below is for supercharge, base and increment. Type towed field artillery. Place of origin United States. Service history. Used by United States, Italy, Australia, Austria, Japan, Jordan, South Korea, Republic of China, Turkey, Pakistan, Croatia, South Africa, United Kingdom. Wars: World War II, Korean War, Croatian War of Independence. Production history. Designed 1918 to 1938. Produced October 1940 to June 1945. No built 1882. Specifications. Weight travel, 13,880 kilograms, 30,600 pounds. Length travel, 11 m, 36 feet 1 in. Barrel length 6.97 m, 22 feet 10 in, L/45. Width travel, 2.5 m, 8 feet 2 in. Height travel, 2.7 m, 8 feet 10 in. Crew 14. Shell separate loading charge and projectile. Caliber 155 mm, 6.10 in. Breech Asbury mechanism. Recoil hydropneumatic. Carriage M1 carriage. Elevation 2 / +65 degree. Traverse 60 degrees. Rate of fire 40 rounds per hour. Muzzle velocity 853 m/s, 2,799 feet/s. Maximum firing range 23.7 kilometers, 14.7 miles.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.